who were deemed to have not met the high standards expected. All of that, of course, after damning reviews found the force was institutionally racist, misogynistic and homophobic.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy, Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up for a Thursday, the second day of October for 2025. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic, ready to start your day the right way with all of your news, weather, and sports that you need to get out the door here this morning. The Nebraska baseball program has announced their 2026 schedule. We'll take a peek this morning. The Nebraska football team continues preparations for Saturday's game against Michigan State. The Nebraska volleyball team heads for a tough weekend this weekend, playing at Penn State on Friday and then turning around and playing at Rutgers on Saturday. We'll get some comments coming up this morning from Danny Busboom Kelly, the head coach for the Huskers. Meanwhile, back at home at Hastings College, the football team will play at Northwestern on Saturday, a place where they have not had a lot of success. We'll tell you about that coming up. Volleyball team and the soccer teams also in action on the road this weekend. High school football coming up this week. We've got Adams Central and Aurora tomorrow night here on Extreme Sports. Also covering the Sandy Creek Sutton game tomorrow night on Extreme Sports 2. We'll talk about those games coming up. The Major League Baseball playoffs continue today. And we've got NFL football as we get ready for week number 5 of the NFL season. The game tonight, San Francisco playing at the Los Angeles Rams. So all that and more is coming up for you this morning as we welcome in Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios. Good morning.
Can we switch the Blazing 5 to playoff baseball?
Yeah,
because let's rewind to the tape yesterday. Tyson, who do you think has a chance to take it to Game 3? And I rattled off 3 teams and said, well, the Dodgers are going to go ahead and sweep the Reds. But rattled off the other 3 games, said all of those could go the distance. Well, looky here, going into the third day of wild card competition. 3 games are going the distance. So can we move the Blazing 5 to baseball talk? Because
well, that's
I think I'm doing
why
a little better.
That's why I asked you that question at the end of the show yesterday, because you're kind of our baseball guru. You watch a lot of baseball, and you were dead on yesterday. Cleveland beating Detroit by the score of 6-1. San Diego shut out the Chicago Cubs 3-0. And the Yankees came back to beat the Boston Red Sox 4-3. So all 3 of those series now tied up at 1 game apiece. Game number 3 going to be held today. In the other game, the Dodgers knocked off Cincinnati easily by the score of 8-4. So the Dodgers win that series 2-0. They move into the divisional series, which is coming up. But the other 3, a wild card series down to game number 3 today. So it should be an exciting day today in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, dead on it. This is the exciting times. This is like Christmas again. We get Christmas about 3 times a year as baseball fans. Opening day is like being a kid on Christmas. Then you get the opening day of the postseason, and then you get the deciding games, right? Whether it's Game 7 or Game 3, these are the ones that you want to put eyeballs on. So, looking forward to a fun, exciting day of baseball. And we'll see how the chips fall and see what our NLDS and ALDS matchups look like after the dust settles.
All right, so you've got baseball. You've also got NFL football tonight. San Francisco playing against the Rams on the road. Boy, the 49ers can't be more beat up here. Yesterday, the Niners ruled out their quarterback Brock Purdy because of a toe injury. Also, a couple of receivers, and Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, they're out with injuries. And also, Jordan Watkins is out with a calf injury. That is also included on the list, or that just goes to wrap up things because tight end George Kittle is out with a hamstring, and wideout Brandon Ayuk is out with a knee injury. So the Niners, probably the most beat-up NFL football team that we've got right now. That point spread yesterday, it was sitting at 3.
Right.
The Rams were favored by 3. When all these injuries came out, it went to 9.
Wow.
So now the Rams are 9-point favorites over San Francisco in tonight's Thursday night game that begins at 7:15 on Prime.
It's a trap.
If I would have known, the Niners were that beat up, maybe I would have got on the Rams for my survivor pick this week.
Nope.
But you don't like Thursday night games?
It's a trap.
I can't see San Francisco winning.
It's the Thursday trap. It'll get you.
So anyway, San Francisco beat up with all those injuries, and we'll see what happens tonight. 7:15 kickoff time on Prime tonight as we start week number 5 of the NFL season. We talked about our survivor picks yesterday. You are on Detroit this weekend.
That's right.
I am on Indianapolis this weekend. We've got 17 people left, according to our little counter on our scoreboard there. If you're watching on our video streams this morning, 17 players left in Survivor. So we'll get your picks in by 6 p.m. tonight. If you don't, you'll go down as a loser this week and you're out. It's happened a couple of times already. People forget to put their picks in. So while we're talking about it, why not just go and lock your picks in, lock them in like we did yesterday. You're on Detroit. I'm on Indy this week for Survivor.
Anybody in the comment section in the lobby? Anybody on LA tonight? I'm generally curious. Anybody taking the long play and going with the long shot, going the dog, going the Niners? Let us know in the comments section what your Survivor picks on.
God,
albeit there's only 12 of us left, so
how could you take San Francisco tonight after what I just told you? All those guys.
We saw some pretty wild stuff last week from picks, and quite frankly, picks that made it, picks that survived. So some people get on wild hairs and say no, they've got a hunch that this upset's coming.
God, you'd have to have you'd have to have something below your belt.
Stones.
Yeah, to take it San Francisco.
Cement
tonight.
blocks.
I heard just before we went on when the Wiesen boys were talking, the head coach for San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, he is 1-18.
Yikes.
When his team is favored by, or when his team is an underdog by more than 6 points. He is 1-18 when his team is an underdog by more than 6 points, and they're a 9-point dog tonight in the NFL.
I wonder if his one win came on a Thursday.
Oh, jeez.
It's a trap.
Baltimore Ravens remain tight-lipped about whether injured quarterback Lamar Jackson has a chance to play in Sunday's big game against the Houston Texans. Of course, he was injured last week, had a hamstring injury in the ball game against Kansas City last week. Jackson has not missed a game with injury since the end of the 2022 season. And since 2018, Baltimore is 4-10 without Jackson in the lineup. If he's unable to go on Sunday, the Ravens would turn to Cooper Rush, the former Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback who signed with Baltimore during the offseason. Ravens are in trouble if Lamar Jackson does not play this week.
This brings up a question that I have about injury reports specifically. And previously I was on the line of the NFL doesn't have to tell you shit. Like, you as the public, you as the media, if I want to hold secrets to my team about what I have in my locker room and who's going to go and who's going to suit up and who's going to start so that my opponents don't have an edge in preparation, then by God, I should get that ability as an NFL coach or owner to be able to do that. But in today's day and age, where, let's be brutally honest, billions of dollars are spent in apps like DraftKings and FanDuel and daily fantasy lineups and fantasy football leagues just like ours. Ours is a pretty pricey fee around here. But like on the grand scheme of things, we are like a drop in an ocean, like flicking a penny in comparison to some of the money that is spent on fantasy football. These survivor pools, we have a prize pool here for Extreme Sports. So we do it a little bit differently. There's a lot of cash getting passed back and forth on these survivor pools that are going out and becoming more and more increasingly popular. It's the new Vegas trend is these survivor pools that people are getting into with so much money, economically speaking. Should there be a rule change where you have to have an injury report, and if you rule him out, has to be out? There needs to be clear definitions of what questionable is. I'm tired of half my roster being questionable on Tuesday's injury report when they're perfectly healthy and rush for 285 yards on Sunday. Do we need more clear definition on an injury report and who is going to be able to be healthy enough to play on Sunday because of the economics of football, which is generated primarily on gambling?
Well, look at the source at Baltimore. It's a Harbaugh, number one. And I heard a couple of questions directed toward him yesterday concerning this. Very vague of what's going on with Lamar Jackson. And I think the NFL injury reports, you've got to list him as an injured player. But, you know, like you said, those things are kind of vague, and what is doubtful, what is questionable, and things like that. And I agree with you. We should probably know.
If ESPN is going to start marketing ESPN Bet, and we're going to have lines on the crawler on the ticker, and they're going to market this thing up, then we should have a hell of a lot better injury reports than we get from the ESPN fantasy staff, from the clubhouses. Somebody's got to get better sources. Period.
Because the Baltimore Ravens are a lot different team with Lamar Jackson at quarterback than
1,000%.
Cooper Rush. It's like two different teams.
1,000%.
Yeah, it's like two different teams with the Jackson at quarterback or Cooper Rush. And we saw that a little bit against Kansas City last week when Lamar went out.
And here's an example. Like, if I wanted to play Baltimore, say, in a 3-team parlay, but I also wanted, and I don't, but I'm using this as an example. If I wanted the Thursday night game in that 3-team parlay, wanted Baltimore and wanted Detroit, but I'm still lingering and wondering if Lamar Jackson is even going to be able to go, I can't place that bet. I've missed that opportunity because you were too tight-lipped, and they know. They know if he's going to go. They've gotten the doctor evaluations. They know if they're going to start him. They know how they're going to implement him in terms of his practice schedule. They know what they're doing. Just release the damn information.
All right, so, yeah, I didn't think we would go off on a tangent like that, but that's all right. I see your point.
Yeah, and it's an area that I have swerved from a previous set of beliefs where I was like, nah, we don't need to give fantasy players that info. Now, as an avid fantasy player and somebody that partakes in this time-honored tradition, since it's finally legal in this state, then we can go bet sports. Now I'm kind of on the other side.
All right, let me give you another medical update. Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has been medically cleared to return, paving the way for him to play on Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Let's go.
Daniels has missed the past 2 games with a sprained left knee, suffered in week 2. The Commanders went 1-1 with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, scoring a combined 61 points in offense in those games. But Marcus on the bench, and Jaden Daniels cleared to return. He'll be the starting quarterback for the Commanders this week in the ball game against the Los Angeles Chargers. See, how difficult is it? Just saying whether or not these guys are going to play or not. The Commanders come out and say, yep, Daniels is ready to go. Meanwhile, Baltimore and Harbaugh tight-lipped on Lamar Jackson. So that's the latest medical update I have for you concerning a couple of big-time quarterbacks in the NFL this weekend.
It makes me okay that Baltimore's 1-3. Like, I don't feel sorry for him.
I don't either. I don't either. I love the Ravens being 1-3 and probably going to be 1-4 if Lamar don't play this week.
Yep.
Doesn't bother me one bit. Especially, I don't like Baltimore, and I don't like the Harbaughs. Neither one of them. So, yeah, I hope Baltimore loses again this week. Let's see what else is going on. Brian Snitker, who has managed the Atlanta Braves for a number of years, is not coming back for next year.
Imagine that.
The 69-year-old Snitker will move to an advisory role and will be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame next year. He's been with the organization for 49 years as a minor league player, a manager, and a major league coach and manager. He led Atlanta to 811 wins, 6 National League East Division titles, 1 wild card berth, and the 2021 World Series championship in his 10 seasons as manager. So you can add the Atlanta Braves as a team that's looking for a new manager for next year.
I mean, it was time, right? They paid all that money when those guys were young to lock them into long-term contracts, to have the team that was going to be the heir apparent to the Braves teams from the mid-'90s that made run after run after run after run in the NL East and went to all those October Classics, only to absolutely stink it up this season. A miserable start. Like, they never got out of the gates. You know, when those prize ponies, man, and then they flash out of the gates in thunder, the Braves were still eating hay in the back somewhere, and they such a slow starter, and they never really got back into the swing of things. Obviously, you can say injuries all you want, but that team was way too talented, and Snitker had his thumb on the pulse for a couple magical years, but it's time they move on. It's fascinating, these teams that have seasons that are below expectations, and they fire their managers because that's what you do when you have a season that falls below expectations. You don't re-sign the guy. And here's the rumor. This is the icing on the cake. You want to piss off a St. Louis Cardinals fan today? Mention the name of Albert Pujols again. His name is now being circulated as manager for the Anaheim Angels.
Oh, no.
So the Cardinals probably stared Albert Pujols in the face and told him,
We're going to stay with what we
again, for the second time in his career, after he comes back and has that magical reunion with St. Louis, hits number 700, probably was in the front line for a management position. No, we're staying with Ollie. We're staying with Ollie. And then here's Albert Pujols going to go to Anaheim. Just pour salt in the wound.
Wow.
Oh, it's going to be a long off season.
Amber's already checking in on her social media sites. We're talking about Lamar Jackson. She says, good morning, football. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is, good morning, football.
The pregame show on NFL Network.
Says that Lamar Jackson is out for this weekend. So get ready for Cooper Rush this weekend. New Orleans will host the 2028 College Football Playoff National Championship at the Superdome, the 14th title game in the College Football Playoff era. Will be played on Monday, January 24th of 2028, following the 2027 regular season and playoff rounds. New Orleans will become the third city to host the College Football Playoff Championship game for a second time. The others are Atlanta, who hosted the championship game in 2018 and in 2025. And will make its second appearance along with 2021 in South Florida this season. January 19th at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, the home of the Dolphins. So anyway, the 2028 championship game going to be played in New Orleans for the second time. Atlanta has hosted it twice. Miami has now hosted it twice. And the 2027 game is set to be played at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
Speaking of Vegas, I showed you that announcement from Bally's yesterday.
Saw that.
With their brand new, whatever you want to call it, almost like a village that surrounds the proposed ballpark for the Las Vegas A's, when and if that ever gets underway. Boy, that looks like a whole different side of the strip now, doesn't it?
Well, Bally's used to be in Vegas.
Yep.
Then they sold, and now Bally's is coming back as part of the baseball complex. There's another one right across the street. You talked about that being like a little community.
Yeah,
There's one right across the street with Allegiant Stadium and that stadium. So that's going to be a high traffic area down in that neck of the woods of the Strip. If you know what Las Vegas and you know the area we're talking about, where the new baseball park is going in right across from where Allegiant Stadium is at. And yeah, I saw that little village, and Bally's is coming back to Las Vegas to be part of that baseball little complex down there. So,
I mean,
I never had great success at Bally's anyway, gambling. So,
I love this little ballpark village that they're building. If you've ever been to a Bally's ballpark village, they are just magical places and really fun places to go. It's this constant party atmosphere before, during, after the game. Then I see like a tap house, and so I'm fine with just going there. I think I might have to hit up a few Vegas A's games. Sounds like a good excuse to get out to Sin City and lose a lot of money.
Yeah, it's usually what happens. Anyway, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. This is a Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for this Thursday. If you'd like to chime in with us, you can. Give us a call on the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line at 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330. We'd love to chat with you here today. Something we've talked about so far this morning. Maybe something on your mind sports-wise for the weekend. Even something non-sports related. Give us a call. Love to chat with you here this morning. Plenty of time to get you on. We're going to be hearing from Danny Busboom Kelly about the Huskers volleyball weekend coming up with games at Penn State and games at Rutgers. Penn State, a team that beat Nebraska twice last year.
And won
beat them once during the regular season at Penn State. Then they beat us in the NCAA semifinals last year. So Huskers may be going on this road trip with a little chip on their shoulder as they take on the Nittany Lions this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, that was a national title that both Nebraska and DBK were in line for, and they had to watch Penn State do the celebrations. So, yeah, it's number one going up against last year's national champ. I don't know what else you want on a Friday. It's going to be an absolutely electric atmosphere.
Unfortunately, it's a Friday night when we're going to be busy.
Yep.
We got high school football Friday night, so
That
one will get started at 7 p.m. How convenient that is.
You don't multitask on games much, do you? You lock in.
I lock in with what I'm doing.
You are a lock-in kind of guy, where I have 3 or 4 different monitors that I'm monitoring. And still able to produce a pretty good broadcast. That's the ADHD brain. It works in magical ways. And I'm able to bounce back and forth on iPads. And so, Marcus, no fear. We'll have an iPad up and we'll have the game on.
I'll probably get the score.
Sure.
But as me watching a football game and trying to lock in on volleyball and to do everything we've got to do to...
No, you're not really locked into volleyball, but you just have that constant ability to see where the game's at.
Yeah,
Right.
with everything else that we've got to do to kind of produce our stuff here on Extreme Sports, that's the last thing I need is to have a couple of other monitors up in my booth trying to work with me. You haven't seen the way me and Jimmy and
Oh no,
Gino
I've
operate.
seen your broadcast booth. I've seen your, and I'm a if it can't fit in the case, then it's not gonna go on the air.
You don't like the 17
Oh my God.
different bags that I have?
You couldn't fly. You would have way too many extra fees.
Well, 2 of those bags could fly free most of the time. The other ones I have to pay for. That's why we never go on any of those long road trips, because I can't fly.
That's right. Too much
I'd
baggage.
spend too much on my baggage. God. All right, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. It's a Huddle Up on Extreme Sports at 7:25.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
The fascinating fallout of the Nebraska's former Liquor Control Commission continues. Now the Nebraska Medical Cannabis Commission will not meet its October 1st deadline, which was yesterday, to grant registrations for marijuana cultivators. This is fascinating. During their meeting earlier this week, the commission chair said they were unable to provide recommendations for license after 2 of its members resigned. Earlier this week, 2 commissioners resigned from their positions on the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission at the request of Governor Pillen as he was cleaning house there. It also meant they lost their roles on the Nebraska Cannabis Commission. Both commissioners served under former Liquor Control Commission Executive Director Hobie Roop, who was suspended without pay in May and taken into federal custody last week, facing charges of honest services fraud, wire fraud, and extortion by a public official. Meanwhile, the Lexington Police Department had a false alarm yesterday as they responded to a possible threatening phone message left at the United Methodist Shining Star daycare facility. Lexington police officers responded and retrieved the saved message, although the speech was not clearly understood. Police officers were able to retrieve the number responsible for the left message, and during the investigation it was determined that there was no threatening message left at the facility. The Nebraska State Patrol Bomb Squad unit safely disposed of 4 grenades that were found in a home in Lincoln. Tuesday morning, a Lincoln resident found 4 old hand grenades among the belongings of an elderly family member. X-ray technology determined that 2 of the grenades were suspected to be live. All 4 grenades were transported and safely destroyed at another site. It's a way to start your day. Oh, what's this? Uncover the couch pillow. Oh, it's a grenade. 911. Anyways, 7:27. Let's swing things over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going on in sports?
Well, the Nebraska baseball program has announced their 2026 schedule. Huskers will play 55 games, including 24 home games next year. Nebraska will open the season at the MLB Desert Invitational in Scottsdale, Arizona, February 13th through the 16th. They'll play their home opener on March the 3rd against Omaha. Then they'll open the Big Ten Conference season with a home series against Michigan State March 6th through the 8th. The Nebraska football team getting ready to play Michigan State on Saturday at Memorial Stadium. This will be the 14th all-time meeting between the two teams, with the Huskers leading the series 9-4. But the two teams have split 8 games since Nebraska joined the Big Ten in 2011. Saturday's game will be the first meeting in Lincoln since 2018, when Nebraska defeated Michigan State 9-6. That marked Nebraska's first win without scoring a touchdown since 1937. Kickoff will be at 3 o'clock. You'll be able to see it on FS1. The Nebraska volleyball team will have a tough weekend. The Huskers will play at Penn State on Friday at 7 on Fox, before playing at Rutgers on Saturday at 6 on BTN. Hastings College football team will play at Northwestern on Saturday. The Broncos have lost the last 18 games to the Red Raiders and have not won in Orange City since 2001. Kickoff will be at 1:30. We'll have the game on Extreme Sports, beginning with Pigskin Preview at 12:30. Hastings College volleyball team will play at Northwestern on Friday. The soccer teams will be at Waldorf on Saturday. High school football action this week. Adams Central will play host to Aurora tomorrow night. We'll have the game on Extreme Sports beginning with a pregame show at 6:45. On Extreme Sports 2 tomorrow night, good one, Sandy Creek playing at Sutton beginning at 6:45. In the other games, Hastings High will host McCook and St. Cecilia will host Gibbon. High school softball today. Adams Central will play in the Central Conference Tournament in York. Hastings High will host Waverly, and St. Cecilia is at McCook. Major League Baseball playoffs yesterday. Cleveland beat Detroit 6-1. San Diego shut out Chicago 3-0. And the Yankees got by Boston 4-3. All three series are tied up at one game apiece. In the other game yesterday, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat Cincinnati 8-4. The Dodgers win that series 2-0. Week number 5 of the NFL season gets underway tonight as a banged-up San Francisco 49ers team will play at the Los Angeles Rams. Kickoff will be at 7:15 tonight on Prime. That's a check in your sports headlines at 7:31 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Get ready for a stretch of 3 days in the upper 80s with plenty of sunshine and some wind by the weekend. Hey everybody, Tim Jones with your forecast. Today on Thursday, plenty of sunshine, a high of 87 and a light south wind at about 5 miles per hour. Tonight, clear skies continue, a overnight low of 60 degrees. Once again, 87 on Friday, 68 overnight low into Saturday morning, 87 sunny and breezy on Saturday, then changes on the way with a cold front coming.
Right now, as you wake up and get going, we've got south winds at 5 miles per hour. It is clear. It is 59 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Join us at Miletovist Winery for The Day the Internet Died, a hilarious mystery dinner that you become a part of. Hey, this is Mick inviting you to get your tickets for 2 unforgettable nights, October 18th and November 8th. Gather your friends, enjoy a great meal, crack the case before dessert. Seating is limited, so get your tickets today at MiletovistWinery.com. And don't miss the mystery that everyone will be talking about, The Day the Internet Died. Get your tickets online at MiletovistWinery.com, St. Paul, Nebraska.
At Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center in Hastings, you can now experience the Balancer Pro lymphatic system, a relaxing, touchless treatment that works while you simply sit back. Using the principles of manual lymphatic drainage, it helps flush out swelling, reduce toxins, ease muscle soreness, and promote total body wellness. Whether you're recovering from surgery, looking to contour and tone, aiming for weight loss, or just wanting to feel lighter and more energized, the Balancer Pro lymphatic system delivers results you can feel immediately. Perfect for athletes, post-op recovery, detox, or anyone who just wants to look and feel their best, because it's for everybody with a body. Come try it today at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Get ready for the ultimate trivia experience with Extreme Sports Trivia. Play from anywhere at home, on the go, or at your favorite bar or restaurant. Compete live against players from all over in real time, answering questions across categories like sports, pop culture, Marvel, and more. Want to see how you stack up? Track your progress with live leaderboards and aim for the top spot. It's free, fun, and super easy to play. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at extremesports.com trivia and start playing now. And keep an eye out. We're coming soon to a bar or restaurant near you.
Mike Wells, Heinz and Bronick with you. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. yeah, you can play trivia and watch our Roku channel. A couple of different spots now. District 14 Bar and Pizza, and, of course, the Bullseye Sports Bar and Grill. So if you want to watch some local sports, and we've got it happening on our Roku channel, those are 2 spots that you can sit down, maybe grab some food, have a couple of beverages, and watch stuff like high school football that we got going on tomorrow night. And, of course, all the Hastings College stuff at home you've got up on the screen. So a couple of places that you can watch that action there on a Roku channel and also play our sports trivia game. I guess it's not a sports trivia game because we've added a lot of questions that are not sports related. I have a tough time. You played the trivia game here lately? I've got a tough time breaking into what I would call a successful round of trivia.
Sure. I haven't played it as of late. I did when we first had it. But you mentioned one of our new sponsors with District 14 Bar and Pizza. They had their big festival this past weekend. We were a little busy with Hastings College athletics and activities, but wrapping up their kind of first anniversary festival. Heard it was a really good success. So congratulations to them over there as they completed a year in business, and excited to have them on board with us here on Extreme Sports.
All right, thanks for joining us on Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, wherever you're listening to us, whether on your website, our website at x-streamsports.com, maybe on your smartphone with our free mobile app, smart speaker, Roku TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch. Thanks for joining us here this morning. 7:36. Let's hear from Danny Busboom Kelly. She is the head coach for the Nebraska women's soccer team. Huskers with a big weekend this weekend, playing at Penn State on Friday and playing at Rutgers on Saturday. Naturally, your main concern is with Penn State on Friday night.
Penn State, obviously a really great team. They have some serious firepower on the pins. I think their middles do a nice job. Fantastic libero, so not many holes for them in my mind. I know they've had some losses this year that could be unexpected, but I still think this is a team that can contend at a really high level.
Again, Penn State beat Nebraska twice last season, once during the regular season and once in the NCAA semifinals.
Yeah, I'd say, pretty motivated, and you've kind of like chip on our shoulder week. We know that we're going to have to play really well to go in there and beat them. I know it's sold out, and it's one of the toughest places to play, if not the toughest in the conference. So it's going to be a challenge. But I do think this team, Penn State or not, this team is kind of ready for another challenge and ready for something to really have our sights set on. So I'm fired up for yesterday's practice and the rest of this week, and going into Penn State feeling prepared.
Danny says her team is excited to play in a big-time atmosphere and a big game here this season.
Yeah, it's funny. We played at Penn State last year when I was at Louisville, and we got rolled. So I also lost to them twice last year. But I'm, again, looking forward to a huge challenge and just getting back on the road. And wherever Nebraska goes, even though Penn State draws great crowds on their own, but when we go places, it's sold out or near sold out. So I'm just excited for that type of atmosphere again, and like a game that has a lot on the line, and the fans are going to be super into it both ways.
Now, Penn State's got a lot of players coming back from last year's team. They picked up a couple of new players, and Danny says when she made out her AVCA preseason poll earlier this year, she put Penn State toward the top.
At the time, when you look at them and they're bringing back their starting setter who was an All-American and their libero who was, I don't know if she was an All-American. She should have been if she wasn't. So there's two really good pieces to start with. And then you add Emmy Selman and Kennedy Martin, and those are two great pin hitters, and just not just two great hitters, but two great all-around players. It's like, well, the addition of just those two is going to significantly raise their stock. And then I know they returned their middles, who were great pieces for them last year. So it just felt like they were certainly going to be one of the most talented teams, at least the most talented core 7-8 players in the country.
And Danny Busboom Kelly says she's looking forward to the road trip.
The time where you really get to focus on yourselves as a team, and there's not that many distractions, and people hanging around the hotel, people in the team room. It just it's a good vibe, and it's also like fun for the coaches. We get to interact with the players a lot more than when we're at home. So looking forward to all those things.
I was said they play at Penn State on Friday, and then back-to-back games. They come right back and play at Rutgers on Saturday.
Rutgers is, I think, really good this year. I think it's one of their better teams, and that's a program that I feel like is taking volleyball more seriously as an athletic department. So, certainly not just a game you can expect to go in there and beat them if you're not prepared. So I think just taking one game at a time and having our team realize that every win is still just a W. Every loss is still just a loss. And Rutgers will just be another chance to add to our resume.
So there you go, a big weekend for the Nebraska volleyball team at Penn State Friday night at 7, at Rutgers Saturday at 6. Both games you can catch on the Tube, Fox on Friday night, and Big Ten Network on Saturday. So a big weekend. I think maybe the toughest weekend that Danny's had since she's been the head coach in Nebraska this year.
I would agree. Probably the toughest weekend since maybe opening weekend when you started off in the showcase against two powerhouses. So, I mean, like I said at the beginning, number one going up against last year's champion. I think if Penn State, from what I've seen from them so far this year, has any kind of, if you call it weaknesses, Martin is not a weakness by any stretch of the imagination, but the frequency in which they set Martin offensively, they can be a bit one-dimensional. And I think the Nebraska can maybe key in on that, especially maybe in the early stages. I can't be the only person that has noticed that Penn State's offense basically has run through her in conference games so far. The confidence is really high when they go Martin's way. Maybe Nebraska can load up on one side, take advantage of that, and force Penn State to use other weapons in their arsenal. Obviously, time will tell. We shall see come Friday night, but it should be a fantastic atmosphere, and that's one that you strap in because you fully expect that baby to go 5. And if it goes 5, it's not Nebraska didn't play as well, because we got that a couple of times when we were playing top 10 competition and we were getting taken to 5 sets, so Nebraska didn't look very good. No, Kentucky's just a really damn good volleyball team. Like, that's okay if that goes 5. So yeah, I expect this one to go the distance, and let's see where the chips fall.
All right, so interesting weekend for volleyball. Again, the football team playing host to Michigan State on Saturday at Memorial Stadium. That one will get underway at 3 o'clock. You'll be able to see that on FS1. We'll hear from Husker head coach Matt Rule sometime during the day, his final crack at things before he heads into the big ball game here with Michigan State. A lot of people, you see a lot of people talking in the social media sites about this, obviously the turning point of the season, these October games. Michigan State this weekend, then Maryland, then Minnesota, Northwestern for the month of October, then right off the bat in November. On November 1st, you've got the game against USC. So, yeah, we could be in contention after the month of October, or we could be in an also run at the end of October.
What team do you want to be, and what team is going to respond after a loss? Will we see old Nebraska, and will we go 500 during this stretch in October and continue to be mediocre, or will we make that step to what Coach Rule calls championship level caliber football? And if it's championship level caliber football, this is a stretch that you have to go 4-0 at. This is the defining month, I think, of the first 3 years under Coach Matt Rule will ultimately be settled on the 31st of October.
Yeah, we could go, and I think you talked about this on Monday.
Yep.
We could go 4-0 in the month of October.
Sure, absolutely.
It's not, it's not out of the realm of imagining that we could go 4-0. Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern. 2 of those games are at home. 2 of them are on the road. The road games at Maryland and at Minnesota. Minnesota game will be a Friday night game, so that's always a new twist. But we've done it before. Mm-hmm. But we could go 4-0.
Absolutely.
During the month of October. Then you've got the stretch run in November, games with USC, UCLA, which is a dumpster fire right now, Penn State, and Iowa, the games in November.
I mean, and so like that sets up for quote-unquote championship caliber football, right? You go 4-0 in this stretch to prepare yourself to put you in position. And then from that point on, the USC, the Penn State, the Iowa game, that's your playoffs in the middle of the season. And if you win those, you're in the playoffs and you're actually playing postseason football. Again, that's putting the cart way too far in front of the horse. We got to take care of what we can control, and we got to put ourselves in position to be playing postseason football in November. And to do that, we got to go 4-0 here in the month of October. It's that simple.
That put us at 7-1.
Yep.
7-1 going into November with those games I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are in the talk about joining
Absolutely.
the ranks of the college football playoff instead of a bowl game.
Yep. But that conversation could easily shift to we just got to win 6. We go 500 here in this stretch, and our conversation is where's number 6?
Yeah, we have to find our 6th. And where would that be? We go 5. Yeah, we go 500. We go 2-2 during this stretch. We're going to be sitting at 5-3 with, again, the same old talk that we've had the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Where are we going to get that 6th one? We got to become bowl eligible this year.
This is the turning point of this entire legacy that Coach Rule wants to build. This is the turning point. And he knows it. And the rest of the coaching staff knows it. The players know it. You have to respond after your loss to Michigan and get started on that road to go 4-0 in October. This is the October that you want to remember as a Nebraska football fan, because this is when it started, rather than this is when we realize that we are going to be stuck in this rut of mediocrity for the rest of our football lives.
How many times are you going to see the record for Matt Rule in his third year here during the month of October when Nebraska is trying to make a run at things?
I mean, none if he falls flat against Michigan State. That stat all of a sudden becomes completely irrelevant because now you're fighting for a bowl game and no longer are we seeing that stat. If we can continue to pick off opponents, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see it.
Once a quarter.
Yeah. Once a quarter at least. So I've already seen it enough.
So have I.
I've already got that thing memorized by now. How well he's done in his third year at all of his stops. God. All right, 7:48. Waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. If you'd like to chime in, we'd love to chat with you on our Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330. Whatever's on your mind, give us a buzz. Love to chat with you because we're experts on nothing. We're not going to make you look like a fool when you join this show because we're experts on nothing.
I didn't say that. I went 4-0 in baseball playoff predictions yesterday.
Well, if you want to talk about baseball, what about today?
You watch your mouth on baseball.
All right, big boy. What about today? You've got 3 games. What about today, big boy? You've got Cleveland and Detroit, San Diego and the Cubs, the Yankees and Boston all series clinchers on the line here today?
The Yankees and Red Sox are going to clear out the kitchen sink. That's going to be a Johnny Holstaff day the minute that any of those pitchers get into trouble. One could say the same about Padres and Cubs. And when it's clean out the kitchen sink and Johnny Holstaff days, hell, I don't know. You're just settling in and strapping in for fantastic baseball. I'd like to think that Wrigley gives the Cubs the advantage in Game 3. In a deciding game to move on for postseason hopes. There are, twist knife, at the current temperature of baseball, taking its current temperature, based on the St. Louis Cardinals' outpouring of support, or lack thereof this year. We'll use bunny air quotes, right? They didn't fill the stadium. They don't support their team. There's no better fans in baseball right now in baseball than Cubs fans. And they will load Wrigley Field up, and that will be an electric atmosphere. I think Chicago wins because they have 10 guys on the diamond, not 9, and the 10th guy is their fan base. I like Jack Flaherty in the matchup for Detroit. Even though Detroit has struggled, I think they find a way to knock off their American League Central rival in a 3-game series, and Detroit will push on. And Yankees-Red Sox is a complete toss-up. We're going to have disputed calls to talk about tomorrow. We're going to have disputed plays, the what-ifs, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. We're going to discuss everything under the sun in that Yankees-Red Sox matchup because that's the way that's going to go down. And whatever one is on the right side of a bouncing ball in a game of inches is going to win that game. So I fully expect Yankees, Red Sox to go down to the wire. Chicago, Detroit. I'm not going to make a New York, Boston prediction because I don't feel confident in either one.
You're on the fence?
I'm on the fence on New York, Boston. But if I was a betting man, I would put money down on Detroit and Chicago today.
You would think the Yankees would come through?
One would think, but the Yankees also know how to Yankee in the postseason, which lately has been disappointment.
All right, so those are your 3 games in Major League Baseball today. All series clinchers, the best of 3 wild card series. And again, your NFL football game tonight. A San Francisco beat-up team will play in Los Angeles against the Rams. That one will be on 7:15 on the prime tonight.
College football, too.
Yeah, what's going on in college football tonight?
I cannot forget about the action in the CUSA, the Conference USA. The winless Sam Houston Bearcats, who were on all of our Blazing Fives in the very first week 0. Remember, we had to bet Sam Houston. They're going up against the Aggies of New Mexico State.
That's the highlight in college football tonight?
The 2-2 Aggies of New Mexico State are home dogs to the winless Sam Houston State Bearcats.
Oh, that sounds like a great game.
It's a trap.
Is that the ESPN game tonight?
That is on the frequently visited CBS Sports Network, not to be confused with actual CBS.
Wow. That's the highlight for college football? That's why it didn't make my sports briefs today.
It is a Thursday.
I know, but occasionally they have a good Thursday night game, not very often in college football. That's why it didn't make my sports briefs today. Sam Houston State and who?
New Mexico State.
And New Mexico State is the underdog?
At home.
Against Sam Houston State?
Yeah.
Sounds like a trap all the way.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Be careful. Be careful out there.
I can't see too many patrons rushing to go bet that game.
Unless they heard it from here.
It's
a trap. Take Sam Houston State. You said they're winless, Sam Houston?
They are, yeah.
They're going to get their first win tonight. It's a trap.
You heard it here first.
We'll look at that tomorrow. Anyway, waking up with Mike and Tyson, 7:54 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Well, fallout from the Nebraska's former liquor control commissioner continues, as now this has put a setback in the Nebraska Medical Cannabis Commission. How? Follow along. They met and will not meet their deadline to grant registrations to marijuana cultivators. They just flat out said it. During their meeting on Tuesday, the commission chair said they were unable to provide recommendations for license after 2 of its members had resigned. Earlier this week, 2 commissioners resigned from their positions on the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission at the request of Governor Jim Pillen, which also meant that they would have to resign from their posts on the Medical Cannabis Commission, which included the 2 Liquor Control Commission members, because why? Who knows? Both commissioners served under the former Liquor Control Commissioner, Hobie Roop, who was suspended without pay back in May and taken into federal custody last week, facing charges of honest services fraud, wire fraud, and extortion by a public official. Meanwhile, as the Nebraska Cannabis Commission drops the ball, the Nebraska State Patrol is glad they didn't drop the grenade. A bomb squad safely disposing of 4 grenades found in a home in Lincoln. Tuesday morning, a Lincoln resident found 4 old hand grenades among the belongings of an elderly family member. X-ray technology determined that 2 of the grenades were in fact live. All 4 grenades were transported and safely destroyed at another site. It is now 7:56. We'll swing things over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going down in sports?
Well, the Nebraska baseball program has announced their 2026 schedule. Huskers will play 55 games, including 24 home games. Nebraska will open the season at the MLB Desert Invitational in Scottsdale, Arizona. Great place to be, February 13th through the 16th. They'll play their home opener, keep your fingers crossed, their home opener March 3rd against Omaha. They'll open up the Big Ten Conference season with a home series against Michigan State March 6th through the 8th. The Nebraska football team getting ready to play Michigan State on Saturday at Memorial Stadium. Be the first time since 2018 that the 2 teams have played a game in Lincoln. Kickoff will be at 3. You'll be able to see it on FS1. I mentioned the Nebraska volleyball team, tough weekend ahead. Huskers will play at Penn State on Friday at 7. Game you'll be able to see on Fox before playing at Rutgers on Saturday at 6 on BTN. Hastings College football team will play at Northwestern on Saturday. Broncos have lost the last 18 games to the Red Raiders and have not won in Orange City since 2001. Kickoff will be at 1:30. We'll have the game on Extreme Sports beginning with Pigskin Preview at 12:30. Hastings College volleyball team will play in Orange City against Northwestern on Friday night. Meanwhile, the soccer teams will journey to Waldorf on Saturday to take on the Warriors. High school football action this week. Adams Central will play host to Aurora tomorrow night. We'll have the game here on Extreme Sports beginning at 6:45. On Extreme Sports 2 tomorrow night, it's Sandy Creek playing at Sutton beginning at 6:45. The other games, Hastings High will host McCook. St. Cecilia will host Gibbon tomorrow night. High school softball today, Adams Central will play in the Central Conference Tournament in York. Hastings High will host Waverly. St. Cecilia is at McCook. Major League Baseball playoffs yesterday. Cleveland beat Detroit 6-1. San Diego shut out Chicago 3-0. The Yankees over the Red Sox 4-3. All 3 series are tied at 1 game apiece. In the other game yesterday, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat Cincinnati 8-4. The Dodgers win that series 2-0. Week number 5 of the NFL season gets underway tonight as San Francisco will play at the Los Angeles Rams. Kickoff will be at 7:15 on Prime. That's a check on your sports headlines at 7:59.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Get ready for a stretch of 3 days in the upper 80s with plenty of sunshine and some wind by the weekend. Hey everybody, Tim Jones with your forecast. Today on Thursday, plenty of sunshine, a high of 87 and a light south wind at about 5 miles per hour. Tonight, clear skies continue, a overnight low of 60 degrees. Once again, 87 on Friday, 68 overnight low into Saturday morning, 87 sunny and breezy on Saturday, then changes on the way with a cold front coming.
As you wake up, get going this morning. South winds at 5. Clear skies 59 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
At Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center in Hastings, you can now experience the Balancer Pro lymphatic system, a relaxing, touchless treatment that works while you simply sit back. Using the principles of manual lymphatic drainage, it helps flush out swelling, reduce toxins, ease muscle soreness, and promote total body wellness. Whether you're recovering from surgery, looking to contour and tone, aiming for weight loss, or just wanting to feel lighter and more energized, the Balancer Pro lymphatic system delivers results you can feel immediately. Perfect for athletes, post-op recovery, detox, or anyone who just wants to look and feel their best, because it's for everybody with a body. Come try it today at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at
All right, Mike Wells, Science Center Bronick. You're listening to Huddle Up this morning on Extreme Sports. Again, tomorrow, we'll have our football predictions for the weekend. Normally, it's the Blazing Five after what we went through last weekend for the second time this season. It'll be the Frozen Five. The Frozen Five picks will be coming up tomorrow at 7:30. We've got to get back to work. We've got to get back on track. We've got to look ourselves in the mirror today, and we got to come up with, all we got to do is come up with 5 games. God, there's like 50 games.
Sounds simple.
Sounds simple. There's 50 games to choose from this weekend, if not more. All we got to do is come up with 5 winners is all we're looking for in the Blazing Five.
Listen, every time that we get a guest picker on that thinks that, oh, well, you guys are dumb, let me show you how easy this is. Looking at you, Kindig. I'm looking at you, Marcus. Looking at you, Tim Stroman. You all got on and also felt the wrath of the Blazing Five. You got burned by it. Like, it happens.
Maybe the fire is hot.
It's not that easy. It's hot here in the kitchen. But we strap up every week and go in for you and dive in and try to find 5 winners. Sometimes it's not a successful weekend. Sometimes you get a text from your bookie saying, hey, when are we going to meet up? That's never a good text to get because you don't get one when you're ahead. We do what we can.
Well, when does that happen?
How? When?
Well, when does that happen when the bookie sends you a text and says, hey, I've got some money I'd like to give you?
Yeah.
When does that happen?
That's non-existent. But we'd like to get in that general direction for you. So we'll go to work. We'll analyze. We'll dive in and we'll deep dive into the Macs and the Conference USAs. Maybe we just follow the color green again and then follow the money. Let us lead it in. But we'll take a look at some games. We'll make some picks for you coming up tomorrow at 7:30.
It's been a while since you've taken like all green teams. You did that a time or two last year, and it was pretty successful for you.
Yeah, I know.
You took everybody that had green in their uniform or in their nickname. The
Follow
Green
the money.
Wave.
Follow the money. Green is the color of money. Follow the money.
God,
I do that. I do that funner. So like, if I'm just having a awful day, we're 8 races in, I haven't won a single one. It's the 5 horse across the board every time because the 5 horse is green. So follow the color of money.
I can see that's turned out well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still here.
I'm still here.
You're still here in the same boat. You're not in a different boat.
No.
That philosophy has worked well. When horse racing season starts again, we'll get Jimbo on here.
Oh, I can't wait.
We'll talk about that.
That's coming up again already.
Just
February.
betting the green horse, the number 5 horse.
It's a fairly successful strategy.
It's as good as anything.
It's as good as any other strategy I've got.
All right, so we'll go to work on our Blazing 5 / parentheses, quotation marks, Frozen 5.
Oh, it's Frozen AF this week.
It'll be Frozen for tomorrow, so that's coming up on tomorrow's show. You can listen to our conversation we've had, and also some comments from Danny Busboom Kelly. Listen to those things again. Just download the podcast. Any one of the social media sites, you'll be able to find out. Download the podcast and listen to this show. It's in its entirety at your convenience today. Make plans to be here 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for a Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. Anything else we need to bring to the table?
The line continues to move for Nebraska. Now at 11.5.
Wow. That started off at 10 earlier in the week, didn't it?
It was single digits.
Public is on Nebraska.
Yep.
That's not good.
I don't know that that's not good.
No, you don't want to go with the public.
You don't typically, but
I always say Las Vegas was not built on winners. So the public is on Nebraska.
As they should be.
Probably want to bet Michigan State tomorrow then. Not to win, to cover the spread. Last time they played in Lincoln, it was an exciting 9-6 game. First time the Huskers won a game without scoring a touchdown since 1937. God, I hope there's more excitement in the game than that.
Good stat.
So anyway, that's coming up. We'll have our Husker predictions tomorrow, too. So lots coming up tomorrow. Anyway, we'll get out of here. I know you got a busy day planned. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock here on Extreme Sports. It's Huddle Up. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on X.